Okay, this hadith in Arabic, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ أَخْوَفْ مَا أَخَافُ عَلَيْكُمْ الشِّرْكِ الْأَصْغَرِ. The Sahaba asked, what is the shirk al-asghar? وَمَا الشِّرْكِ الْأَصْغَرِ يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ? And the Prophet ﷺ said, الرِّيَا. So this hadith, basically what the author did was summarized it. The full hadith would be, the Prophet in English, the thing I fear most for you is the lesser of the shirk, or the small shirk. Then the Sahaba asked, O Prophet of Allah, what is the small shirk? Then the Prophet ﷺ said, Ar-Riya, which is showing off good deeds. The basic word we're talking about, the first one, if you want to sum it up in one word, we talked about oppression. This, dhulm. The second one is going to be about Ar-Riya, which is showing off good deeds. What's the definition of Riya? The definition of Riya is to make your worship, your ibadah, your worship better so that people can see it and you get closer to them with that. Again, to make your ibadah better, ibadah means your worship. To make your worship better so that people see it and get closer, and you get closer to them with that. You try to get closer to them with that, either by them praising you or by them thinking better of you, and it's really the matter that you're doing is supposed to be for Allah. Basically what it is, to do something, some matter of worship, so that people can praise you. The lessons of the hadith, the first lesson of the hadith is that this shows you the mercy of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ upon us. Because the Prophet ﷺ fears for us. He fears that something may happen to us, whether it may be that we be thrown in hell, or whether it may be that we do our deeds in vain, or that Allah dooms us. Shows you, the basic point is that the mercy of the Prophet ﷺ to us. How? Because he says, I fear most for you. He fears this for us. Meaning he's concerned for us, he fears for us. So that shows the mercy of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. Number 2 lesson from the hadith is that there's sins worse than each other. There's sins that are worse than each other. Meaning sins are not all in one level. There's sins that are above each other. Who can tell me how we can withdraw that from this hadith?
Lesser shirk.
No. How you? I said, the second point I said is the Prophet ﷺ, from this hadith we learn that not all sins are equal. Some sin could be bad, some medium, some low. How do we get it from this hadith?
Because he put a point where of the lesser shirk, if he would have said just generally.
Nope, that's what Musa just said.
No, like he gave an example. The example he gave.
Doesn't matter. How do you know from this hadith that there's sins worse than each other?
Good deeds.
Sins worse than each other. Look at the hadith. Read it.
I think.
Is the level?
Or you. Oh, the things I think I fear most.
Most. It's obvious. Read the hadith. He said the most. Meaning, there's other things he fears for us. They're not the most. This is among the most things. So this shows you that sins are not all in one category. Sins are above each other. Some are worse, some are a little bit less. The third lesson from this hadith is that there's a lesser shirk. So what does that mean? There's a big shirk. And that's what we have, a shirk asghar and shirk akbar. And that shows you that this classification of shirk asghar and shirk akbar was from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Isn't bigger shirk worse?
What bigger shirk is worse?
And
yes.
How come he doesn't fear bigger shirk more?
The reason he doesn't fear bigger shirk more, he does fear it, but he doesn't fear it more because we're going to get to a hadith that this is something that nearly affects most of the Muslims. The bigger shirk, rarely, it's exception to anyone. This one, nearly every single Muslim has to struggle with it. Every single Muslim. The other one, no, it's not. In one of the hadith that's going to come up, the Prophet ﷺ said that shirk is like the crawling of an ant. It hits you and you don't even. An ant could be crawling on, you don't feel it, and that's the same way this shirk comes to you. So this shirk affects all Muslims, the other shirk doesn't. This shirk, one of the dangers of this shirk to start off, is that this shirk usually, if you don't cure it, ends up making you a hypocrite, basically. How? All your ibadah. You start off a little bit of your worship. You say, hey, let me go so the sheikh can see how I read Quran, and I'll show off in front of him. Then you go and you make your salah bigger so your friends can see how long you stay in the salah. If you don't cure that disease, you're going to start making your whole salah for your friends. All of it for your friends. You're going to start making all your Quran for your friends. You're going to start making all your charity for your friends. That's why this is so dangerous. Okay. Next point is there's a ibadah that was done and it was tainted with riya. Okay? What's riya, Musa? What's riya?
Showing off.
Make worship.
You don't know the main point we're trying to.
Make worship better for someone else.
Okay.
So that people can see it.
Okay. When I ask someone, let him answer because I want to wake him up.
What was the thing you were saying there?
When a ibadah is tainted with riya, what happens to that ibadah? Meaning, basically in Arabic, the hukum. What's the ruling on that ibadah? The ruling on a ibadah that's been tainted with riya. This riya had to have happened either before or after the ibadah was done. Let's take after. I prayed 2 rak'ahs over here and there was no riya, no showing off in them. But after that, someone came up to me and says, wow, I seen you pray those 2 rak'ahs, that was real good. That does not affect the ibadah itself. The ibadah, you still get the reward for it and there's no problem with that. Unless you don't struggle with that. Unless you don't fight it out. You like it. You start pulling your chest up and you say, yeah, it was real good. And you start talking about your own salah or your own deed. So basically, if the riya comes to you after you've done the deed, basically the ruling on that, your deed is good. Unless you go with the flow of the shaitan. Your deed is good unless you go with the flow of the shaitan. Now, what if the riya comes to you within that matter of worship? You get up to pray and you're by yourself. I got up to pray and I'm by myself. And then people started walking in. And I was really going to make it a snappy 2 rak'ahs. When people started walking in, I made it long 2 rak'ahs. Now, the ruling on that, first of all, the ibadat, they're either connected or disconnected. What do I mean by connected and disconnected? For example, salah is all connected. There's nothing, you can't separate it. So I'm in a prayer, someone comes in, and I make it longer. According to most scholars, that invalidates that prayer. It invalidates that prayer. Some scholars do say it invalidates the addition. But the true opinion on that is it invalidates all that prayer. Because shirk, riya entered in it, it kills it. I say again, some scholars said the additional part is not it's not going to be accepted. The original is going to be accepted, but that's a weaker of the 2 opinions. Now what if it's disconnected? A ibadah that's disconnected. Meaning, I